All right. All right, so let's load up the other meeting, and plan for today is continue on a current unit and which should be lesson 7 from the unit 4. Couple of quick notes. Like at this point, I've said it so many times that I feel like saying it again is not getting to the people who didn't listen the first, realistically, 8 to 9 times. If you are resubmitting or submitting work to be reassessed, you need to send me an email with your period number in it and the actual name of the assignment, not just all the work I did or the from unit 2, or all you need to do is go to Canvas and copy the name of the assignment and email it to me. It's not very difficult. Or you can just do it during class, okay? If you do everything that we do during class, you get an A. That's it. It's not that hard. We are doing the work right now. It is also on recordings. Everything we do will be on recordings. Do that. Okay, not that hard to get to. You just go to our Google Slides presentation, the Google PowerPoint that has all of our videos. It should pop to the end, and there you go. I will make a place for the video that is currently being recorded but doesn't exist yet. What is this? L07. And there we go. All right, so jumping right into code. Lesson 7. Oh, I probably haven't even made it visible yet now that I think about it. Let's go ahead and let you take a look at it. And where are we? There we go. All right, so lesson 7, conditionals practice. Okay, we're going to continue with our greater thans and less thans, comparing the values of variables at whichever time, and then also introduce some longer conditionals. Let's just jump right in to 7 bubble 1. And you can follow along as we do this. Okay, so a lot of these bubbles are just console.log statements where the only output is going to be the printing to the debug console. And how does one clear? Be nice if I could get a little more space there. But that's fine. So okay, so like as you're coding, or at least more advanced stuff, so much of it is just writing console log statements to see how the computer is interpreting your commands or your script, your code, before there's any sort of output. Not just debugging like something doesn't work, but also as you go. It's important to do. So here, read code and predict, run the code, answer last questions for, need some Boolean expressions. So 3 lesson 5. All right, so we're looking for what the actual, how the computer is going to output. We're comparing is 3 lesson 5. What's going to come out? It's going to come out as true because 3 is less than 5, which it's not the word true. It is the concept of true. It is if you were to ask an if statement, that if statement would return as true, and then it would do whatever you want it to do, if it's true. Second one is 3 equal to 5. Remember, double equals is the comparison, or it's the equality operator as opposed to assignment, which is single equal sign, and it's a different color block. Okay, is 3 greater than 3? It is not. 3 is not greater than 3. And 2 times 2 greater than or equal to 5. Okay, we're still, even though this isn't really order of operations, it's still good to pair off, arithmetic its own private room to operate in. Okay, so we want a console log statement that's difficulties. All right, so now that that works, I don't know what's going on, why I'm stressing my computer out. We need a console.log statement here that is asking, is 10, you can just type it out rather than bring out the orange blocks, less than or equal to 10, and that should return true. Let's speed this up. 10 less than or equal to 10. And then the last one is 10 minus 3, something, something, something. Give me a second. Is 10 minus 3 greater than 3 times 3? So let's just go ahead and do some parentheses. 10 minus 3 in its parentheses greater than 3 times 3. And you don't need the spaces there. I think it makes it easier to read, but there you go. I'm pretty sure that is the way you would type out is 10 minus 3 greater than 3 times 3. All right, so there you go. Not too hard. And we'll keep going. We'll keep going with the same meeting, should work fine. All right, read, code, predict how questions 1 and 2 will be answered, run the code and watch check console, answer questions 3 and 4 with a Boolean expression. So we have a couple of global variables that are declared at the top. That's what we need from global variables. And then we have a couple console log statements. Okay, is score plus lives less than 13? It should come back as false because 13 is not less than 13. Hey, guys, I really need you to be quiet. Also, let's get back on track here. Thank you. And next one is lives times 3 equal to score. I mean, this isn't very difficult stuff. You're just putting in statements that are what the words are. Okay, is score minus lives greater than 5. That should be fine because this, single arithmetic equation is on one side of the greater than, so it can sort of handle it, but parentheses don't hurt. Score minus lives greater than 5, and is score times 2. Where are we here? Score is score times 2 greater than or equal to lives times 10 times is the star. And this is like super easy stuff. I think you'll agree. The harder part comes when you're given a situation and you need to decide what goes where and on which side, rather than just converting these words into code, and translating them. Read questions 1 through 3. Run the code, check your predictions. Answer questions 4 and 5. Okay, so we're going to use our logical operators and, or, and not. These are the symbols: double ampersand, which is shift 7 on your keyboard, is the and operator, 2 vertical bars. I think that's the actual name for that character, which is shift backslash, which is directly above the enter key. 2 vertical bars is or, and an exclamation mark is the not operator, not operator. So we are given 3 global variables and fruit, veg, and grain servings. And okay, predict how the first 3. Okay, they're all given different, they're initialized with different values. Am I eating more than 3 fruit servings and more than 5 veg servings? Console log is fruit. It's asking, is fruit greater than 3? No, it's not. Okay, and so you don't even really need to check the rest because we know this is separated by an and, means this side needs to be true and this side needs to be true for this to equate to true. But because this side is false, it doesn't even matter what this is. The entire thing is false. So that should return, am I eating 3 fruit, 5 veggies? It should come back as false. Yeah. Okay, next one, 4 is 4 or fewer grain servings and 4 or fewer fruit servings. Okay, fruit serving is 4 or less, and grain is 4 or less, which is what less than or equal to is the same as saying that or less. So grain fruit should be true. Let's get a few more pixels for that. Grain fruit true. Okay. I'm not going to spend too much time. All right. So then we have equals and not equals to. Okay. Eating exactly 5 grains and anything other than 2 fruits. Okay. Grains is not equal to 5. So this side is false, but because I said and before, but it's actually or. So this is split by an or, which means either this side needs to be true or this side needs to be true. Okay, up at the top, it said grain was 4. So it's asking, is grain equal to 5? It's not. So this side is false, but we can still check this side. Fruit was 3, I think, at the top. And it's asking, is fruit not 2? Which it is. So the entire thing, this whole thing is true. So that should print out equal 5, and anything besides this is true. Okay, so we need exactly 3. Again, these are just translating the words into code. So we'll put a console here, and we can you can just type it in. It's not that hard, especially for these simple ones. So, and I think it's actually probably easier to do more typing on Chromebook rather than the blocks, which is different in the past. But we need to ask, well, first of all, we're separated by an or, so you can actually just go ahead and put, why is this being ridiculous? You can actually just put your or in the middle, just 2 vertical blocks. And then on one side, we are asking, is it, okay, is grains exactly 3? So we can do copy here and have that double equals 3. We can clean this up a little bit. And the other side of our or statement is or exactly 3 fruits is fruit servings double equals 3. If either one of those statements is true, the entire statement will return as true. So this is question 4, should come back as true, good. And question 5, which we need a new line for. I'm just going to type the whole thing out, console.log. And am I eating 5 or fewer vegetables? And so let's just go ahead and throw our and in there, double ampersand. And is vegetable serving, so I have it up here somewhere, is veg serving 5 or fewer, so that's less than or equal to 5. We can tidy this up a bit. And not an amount besides 5 for grain servings. So we'll copy that here. Is grain servings exclamation equals 5? That's what that is asking. And that should equate to true because grain servings is 4 and veg serving. So grain serving is not 5 because it's 4 and veg is anything 5 or fewer. And that is it. So let's go on to the next one. Come on now. All right, so for you guys, when this comes in, does it come in text mode and keep you, okay, just making sure I'm getting the same thing. All right, so build an app where the star changes color based on the number of clicks, add clicks to the watch window. And I'm not gonna do clicks as a watcher. You know what, why not? So down here in here, let's add a variable to watch called clicks. And add a Boolean expression to the if statement that checks if there are 5 or more clicks. So the conditional, the way you would actually use those greater than, less than, equals to, not, and, or, whatever, would be inside of the if statement. Okay, when you drag an if statement out, it gives you this space right here inside the parentheses. That's where it checks for truthness. And if it is true, it runs everything between the curly brackets. And if not, it skips it, or it's checking for if else, and we talked about that also. So we want something to happen when clicks. If clicks is, do we want it to check 5 or more? So that's greater than or equal to 5. Set it to red, which means that when we get to 5, it turns red. And that's it. Okay, and that's the only thing that happens. It's not super complex, but there you go. The key is that's where you put the conditional in the if statement. All right, so at this point, we do have our, you can switch it back to blocks, and we have our setup of, that's not what I want, that's what I want. We have our setup with when the star is clicked, clicks gets clicks plus 1, it goes up by 1, and it sets our num clicks to that current variable, and it's checking to see if it's 5, and I'll switch it to red. Okay, run the code, see how it works. Change the if statement for, we need some if else's. Okay, so we don't need to check if clicks is 0, because that is to set it to black, and it's starting at black. So while it's not bad to have a starting condition, as long as you make the design element your starting condition, you don't have to worry about it. So we just need to make, so the first one is clicks greater than 0, switch it to red. That's what we already have. So we run here, first click, it should switch to red. No, hold on. If clicks, oh, less than 0. Okay, so no, why is this an if? Oh, okay, never mind. I was reading it wrong. Okay, so if clicks is less than 5, make it red, but since we want anything that is 5 or greater to be orange, we can just put the else situation, have that, change it to orange, set property, star, icon color to orange. And there you go. At 5, at exactly 5, it's this first part becomes not true, and then it runs this, because if else it's going to do one or the other. And this only gets run when it's clicked, which is why the starting condition is there when you hit run. It's not doing any of this until you click on the star. And that's when it does the first part of this. And I think that's it for this one. All right, so now we've got some else ifs, and we need a series of these to get through. Okay, because we are checking for these sort of, well, we already have clicks is 0, black, that's our starting situation. We have, if clicks is less than 5, which anything else, that only leaves us 1 through 4, because clicks is a positive integer and going up by 1, it'll be red. Then it already put clicks less than 10 as orange. And we need to add one for yellow, green, blue, and violet. We don't need to put one for pink because that's already in our else situation. But we, as you add if else's, it doesn't drag it to the bottom. So after orange, we need one for yellow, one for green, one for blue, and one for violet. So let's see what we got here. This one will be yellow, and you can just use the string, the word yellow, and I'm just gonna do a bunch of copy paste here. Yellow, after yellow comes green, and after green comes blue, and then after blue comes a violet. And obviously I'm going to worry about the conditionals here in a second. And then the last one is pink. Okay, and my conditionals are all going up by 5. And because we're checking for lower than, we're checking as if clicks is less than something, that means our checking numbers will be increasing. You could do ranges, and in which case it doesn't matter which order, but this is the easiest way. And so what do we need here? Is it all 10? Yellow is less than 15. Less than 15 and less than 20 gives for green, and less than 25 blue, and less than 30 violet. And the only other scenario, the only else is if you get to 30 or higher, it should there we go. There we go. That's it. Okay, so that's it for 6. Okay, 7, debug this code. Star never turns orange. All right, so this is the exact type of question you'd see on the AP exam, where it would say which lines of code need to be switched. And if you go through this, it goes red, then yellow for way too long, and then green. And I mean, at this point, you should be able to fix what's wrong with it. It's not this yellow triangle where it says event is not defined. Sometimes when you bring in a new event handler, it will put something as a parameter in the function, the definition part. You can just ignore that. You can also delete it. It doesn't matter. But that's not the problem. The problem is that we are never getting to the condition where the star will be orange. And the reason for that is we're checking for less than 15 before we're checking for less than 10. And because of that, it's never getting to the condition of less than 10. Because every click that happens between 5 and 10 gets picked up by 15, which is not what we want. The order is what would be to switch this color one and the number, but as long as you switch the number one, the numbers on the conditional. I don't care that it's getting to yellow before orange, which is what I mean, whatever. Yeah, just go ahead and switch this. There we go. That wasn't too hard. So yeah, so it goes red, orange, yellow, and so on. And there you go. All right, number 8. What do we got here? We've got run the code, look what's happening. So Boolean expression on line 4 is another way of writing the conditional statement on line 7. I don't really know how many times you would use this sort of setup, but I mean, here you are console logging is y greater than, or giving the variable x either a true or false situation based on this comparison, and then console logging it. And here it's doing the same thing, and then console logging it. I mean, I don't know how much there is to be gained from this. You're essentially just copying the format of the top. Okay, A is 3, B gets, so if A is greater than 2, B is going to get true, else B is going to get, excuse me, B, nope, is it X, var X, Y, if A, B gets false, and then console log B, the variable B, not the letter B, and it should be true, false, false, true, true. Okay, these 3 lines of code are doing the same thing as these lines of code. I mean, you just, if you wanted to achieve that, you would figure out the way you like to do it and then do that. But understanding the underlying situation for that is good. Okay, so we've got some red blocks, red squares, which means we've got to solve some things before we can even look at our block format. Okay, so here is the overall question is, can I adopt a cat? Okay, we are checking for a either yes or no answer to that. And here is our flow chart. We have 2 variables that we're working with, age and money. They are initialized to a value of 0. They are going to retrieve the values the user puts in. And then we are going to see what comes out. If you want to look at this in block mode, I think you should be able to put, if you just put a number in here or a string or anything, we're going to have to change it, but it will at least, it will fix the issue and let you switch back to block mode. You can also put true in there. You could put age. Actually, yeah, I guess you could just put any, you can almost put any text in there. Let's see. Yeah, so empty is not good. Any sort of text. Yeah, so this definitely needs to be changed, but at least you can look at blocks again, so that's good. Okay, so when the user clicks on the button, that's when it all happens. That's our only event handler. Okay, so if it does this, it's going to hide the element. That's this. There's actually 2 pictures here, a yes cat and a no cat. And one's a image. Well, I guess they're both images. And based on our true false statement, which is, it isn't anything yet. That's nothing. Just based on this true false statement, we are going to have it either do yes or no. So we need to update the variables based on what the user puts in. So the first variable, age, remember it's not var, it's only var once for each variable and only at the top. Age, both of these are numbers. So you have to do get number. If you do get text, it's going to retrieve it as a string, as in like the characters that the user typed in, as opposed to the value of the numbers they typed in. So you need to do age is going to get the number of age number. I would probably call it age input if I was doing this, but that's fine. And the other variable is money. And money is going to get the number of money number. That's nice. Okay, so now we have these variables. We can just use these words to compare it against our standard, which our standard for yes adopt is money needs to be equal to 40 and age is over 14. Now, ignore the fact that if you were really checking to see if you could afford something, you would be checking greater than a number or greater than or equal to a number. But that's not the point here. Let's just stick with this. So our if statement, which is what goes here. Okay, if, well, it's just this right here. If money double equals 40 and double ampersand, age greater than or equal to 14, if both of these statements are true, the top part of this if else is true, and it will run, it will show the yes cat picture. Otherwise, it will show the no cat picture. And let's see what we got here. Let's just do, well, let's do for money and, well, tabs don't work. Okay, that should be a no. Yep, no, sad cat. And I don't think you have to hit reset, but if you hit 40 and 4, it should still say no. 40 and 15. Oh, wait, no, that's age. Never mind. 40 and 40 should get yes. That's a good picture. 14 should still say yes. 13 should say no. Yeah, so that is the case, okay? Even though, like I said, money at 44, if you have 44 monies, you have enough money for a cat in this world. But that's not what we're checking for. That's not what they asked us to check for. I get the feeling that we might have to change that here in a second. Regardless, that is what we're looking for here. All right, add two changes. Yep, there we go. Okay, so here is our more complex situation. Okay, clearly we need to change money to greater than or equal. So it's easier just to go to text and change this to greater than equal to. Okay, if money is greater than equal to 40 and age greater than 14, and it's teenagers in animal shelter, and only teenagers allowed to adopt cats, update. Okay, so we now need to break this up into another, and we have a third situation here. Okay, our first one is that money needs to be 40 or more. We have that one. That's this right here. And the other situation is age needs to be prevent anyone under 13. So 13 needs to be greater than or equal to 13, but it also needs to be less than or equal to 19. In order to be between 13 and 19, you need greater than or equal to 13 and less than or equal to 19. So we need another and statement. Okay, all of these statements need to be true in order for it to be true. Age less than or equal to 19. Okay. Most of the time when we do this, it will be the easiest way to solve something is with, like, if there's 4 statements, you split it in half and do one half and then the other half. But this should work right now. So we are looking for age. Let's do money at 45 and age at 12 should be no, but 13 should be yes. Age, no wait, 14 should be yes. I should have changed that. This should be 13 because it's teenager day. Money 45, age 12 is no, 13 is yes, 15 is yes, 20, 33 is no. All right, so that's all we need for checking for our 3 conditions now. This is actually a much easier lesson than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was the next thing, but that's still fine. Let's do this over here. All right, so let's go to the next one. All right, so wait, that is the one we just did. Okay, some more modulus. And actually, they've given you the data tab here. I don't know why, but this is for the future. There's another tab here where we can use large tables of data and sort through them. It's actually not that hard, and it's a great way to add a lot of content to an app. Okay, so here is what we're looking for. Okay, we talked about mod last time. Hopefully you remember, mod is division, except the answer is the remainder. It doesn't matter how many whole numbers. Guys, settle down, please. It doesn't matter the whole number of the division. The only thing that matters is the remainder. Okay, also called clock counting, as in how many times around the clock you need to count, and then the remainder, I should say. All right, so what are we supposed to do here? Put a console.log statement with your answer. 5 mod 2. 5 mod 2 is 1. Okay, remember mod 2 is even or odd. Check that the 2 lines match in the console. Okay, so we are just putting our guess here. This doesn't really seem super useful. Okay, anything mod a larger number is itself. Okay, it has to be. Think of a clock. Clock has 12 numbers on it. Starting at the top, if you only count 2 around, what number do you end up on? 2. Not 2 times around, but you count 2 spaces, you're on 2. And there we go, a couple 2s. Like, I don't know how hard this is supposed to be. Okay, 10 mod 2, an even number mod 2 is always going to be 0. Yeah, I don't know what 2 mod 4 is 2. 7 mod 1. Anything mod 1 has to be 1, right? Oh no, it's 0. No, it's 0 because if the clock size is 1, if there's only one number, the top number on our clock is not 12. The top number is 0. So it goes into it evenly. All right, so a couple of checks for understanding. Let's go over these. Folks, can you stifle yourselves for a minute? Hey, zip it. All right, checks for understanding. Let's go over this. So some pseudocode, because that's fun. I can't make that any larger. Okay, practice question. What will be displayed after the code segment is run? This is, again, this is an AP question or format question. So we are given two variables, score and lives, each with a different value. The key to this, hey, folks, settle. Thank you. The key to nested if-else statements is figuring out the indentation. Okay, this if and else statement are one pair. This if and else statement is another pair, but this if else statement would only run, that's fine, if it got to this else statement. If this was true, that's the end of everything. But if it makes it to the else of the first conditional, it then will run its own. The else condition has another condition, which stacking or nesting if-else statements is one way to sort of, if it makes more sense to you, to do a if, else if, else if, else if. Instead of having a long tree, you can have them nested. Another naturalist's analogy. Okay, so if lives is 0, is lives 0? Lives is not 0, so it doesn't happen this. So it runs the else. So now we have to run the else. There's an if else here. If score is greater than or equal to 5 and, okay, well, score greater than or equal to 5, it isn't. So this entire line is wrong or false. So this is what gets run. And it should say you win. Let's see if that is the correct answer. I suppose it probably is. Yep, you win. And for the next one, let's do this one as well. Same pseudocode reference. This actually looks like JavaScript, but it should be fine either way. All right, so what do we get? Well, this, the variable number is going to get an input. Okay, what number will a user need to input? Okay, how do we get cold as a response? What number needs to go here? What number needs to be assigned to the variable called number in order to make it to this if-else statement? All right, so first thing you do is match up your ifs and else. That if-else is a match, and this if-else is a match. This inner one only gets called if the first conditional is true. If this first conditional is false, it goes to this else, and we'll do whatever in there, which there's only one situation there, so that's what's happening. So all we need is a number that is not greater than or equal to 10. I assume there's only one option at the top that is not 10 or greater, and it is, so that means it's going to be 5. So a lot of these conditional things, it's just about visually matching them up. Now, of course, the computer doesn't have to visually match up anything, but if you're looking at some program code and you need to figure out what would happen in a given scenario, matching ifs and else is good. And when you have the long, statements, splitting it in half and deciding what happens to each half, that's your best bet. All right, so that's it for lesson 7. Make sure you get it done. Let me know if you have any questions.